I am not a big fan of bread pudding unless it's made with very good bread. And I just so happen to be in the possession of some very good bread. I'm gonna make bread pudding today, if that wasn't obvious enough. For my pud, I'm going to be using Panettone, which is like a very rich, eggy, delicious bread that you usually only find around Christmas time in these parts. But I follow this man on Instagram and he just makes the most beautiful, delicious, perfect Panettone I've ever had. And he makes some really good flavors. He recently came out with a pistachio chocolate, which I had to get in this beautiful box from Roy. It's a tad on the pricey side, but it is worth it. I will leave all of his links down below in the description if you want to treat yourself. It's just, look at the strands in this bread. Can you see that? To die for. This man knows what he's doing. We could all use a little more of that. I said what I said. Bread pudding. Very simple recipe, only a few ingredients. We can get started. Starting with this wet mixture. Into a larger vessel, I have some heavy cream going in, some whole milk, 1 million eggs, double hand, no shells. Just gonna break these up a little bit. These can go in. Oh no. Not a good idea. That was fun, am I right? I still didn't get a big enough bowl. Something's wrong with me. Just make sure that those are all well incorporated with the milk and the cream. Gonna add a pinch of salt to this. Here's where you can kind of play around with it. I'm gonna add some sugar in here. Not too much. You might not even need it, or you might like really like the sugar. Taste your bread, see how sweet it is, then adjust. I used about half a cup, 2/3 of a cup. Here's where you can also kind of play with the spices if you want to add some cinnamon. Depending on the flavor of your bread or panettone, you can add whatever you feel like will go well with it. I'm gonna just like leave this plain Jane. The bread is going to speak for itself. It's already very flavorful, very delicious. Set this aside. I've got a 9 by 13 here that I'm just gonna slather with butter all around. Get into all those corners and the sides. You don't want any of this kind of sticking around. Good to go. All right, now that I've licked my fingers clean, just kidding, you nasty. Wash your hands, don't be an animal. In goes my panettone that I have just cubed up and left out kind of for a while because I wanted to dry out a little bit. If you're in a hurry, you can always cube it up, pop it into like an oven for a while to dry it out. But really, it's just so that the mixture will absorb a little better. You don't need to dry it out. It's not like it's not gonna work. And this is about a pound of panettone. Bring our mixture back in and just drown it. Might seem like a lot. It will definitely absorb, especially if this bread is on the drier side. I'm gonna leave this to sit for 25 minutes, half an hour. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for this to kind of just absorb, I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350. She's been soaking for a good while. My oven is now preheated. I'm going to pop this into the oven for like 45 minutes or so until like it's all set in the center and nothing's jiggling around too much and it's nice and brown and toasty and delicious looking. I put a sheet tray under this just in case things happen to blow over. Wow, this thing is a thing of beauty. It's jiggly, but it's solid. Let's just test it. Clean, clean. Now all we have to do is wait. I'm gonna let this cool 5-10 minutes. You wanna still eat it when it's warm. It's the best when it's warm, so I'm not gonna let it cool completely, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's just like juicy, soft, baked bread. I mean, can we just take a little look? It's very hot. This is good. Like I said before, I really don't like bread pudding, but something about panettone just makes me wanna make every single dish I know with it. But the middle is so nice and juicy and just custardy, smooth, so flavorful. The crust all on the outside and the top just like crisps up in the oven and just makes the best texture, and then it's smooth on the inside, and the flavor is where it's at. I did end up bumping the temperature up to 375 because it was taking way too long, so I would suggest 375, do it for 45 minutes, but it's perfect. You've got to make this. You're gonna love it, and anyone you make it for, even if it's just yourself, is gonna love it too. Enjoy!